guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do a part 2 of the jail Q&A. I know a lot of people were asking me for the part 2, and I'm going to kind of go through and try to answer some of the questions that I get asked a lot. I know a big one was, what if you're deaf in jail? Depending on the jail, some jails are not going to care. As far as a hearing aid, some jails allow it, some jails allow one. It's just different in every jail. I do know that there are a lot of inmates that know the alphabet in sign language. So you could possibly communicate that way, or you might have to write things down. I've had people ask, what about if you speak another language? Now, I have heard of jails finding translators. It might not be in the jail, but at least maybe when you go to court or something like that, there might be a translator in the jail. But again, these jails don't care. They're just gonna put you in there and have you figure it out. A lot of times they just leave you in the dark, no matter where you're from, why you're in there. That's just how it is. I was asked to talk more about hygiene. I've talked about this a few times, but I'm gonna go ahead and just show you a couple things in this video. So hopefully the people that missed it will get to see it in this video. I know that there's a lot of videos that you guys miss. Some videos get pushed out, some don't. So I understand that some of the questions are going to be asked more than once, and that's okay. I'm here to answer the questions and help spread awareness how I can. So what you would usually get at most jails when you first get there, you would get toothpaste of some sort. Sometimes it'd be clear, sometimes it would be this white toothpaste, but it would be a small, tiny toothpaste bottle like this. You're going to get a small toothbrush like this. You'll get a bar of soap like this. Some jails might give you a little small deodorant. It's a Bob Barker deodorant. There's no scent. It really doesn't work, but some jails will give you that. This little shampoo, rare. It's very rare, but some jails might give you a shampoo, but then they might not give you a soap, or vice versa. Some will just give you this and tell you to wash everything with this, hair included. But that's usually all that they give you when you first get there as far as hygiene. And how often, from my experience, you have to file indigent, and that takes time, and you cannot have any money on your books. Some jails allow you to have $5 a month, but you've got to stretch this out for a long time. So that's why I make all these hustle videos. You got to pick up some kind of skill, something that you can do so you can trade to get what you need in there. Now, commissary, there's all kinds of stuff on commissary, and it's different at all the jails. But what I've seen, there's VO5 shampoo, conditioner, or like a 2-in-1. Some will have Pantene. This will be like your more expensive shampoo and conditioner. And then deodorant. This is the exact deodorant that they had where I was that I used. Some will have baby powder. You can find chapstick. You can find different hair products. But again, it's not the stuff that... It's not going to be the stuff that you normally use or that you actually need. It's just like random stuff that they have. I've made videos about this. You get pads in jail. It's a very limited amount. Tampons they do not give. They usually sell them on commissary, and then pads on commissary. But you have to have money for these things. And the only way to have money is if someone on the outside is putting money into your account. If you don't have that, then you don't get these things. But that's the only way you can do it. When you work... We got 2-for-1 days, which is time off your sentence. You did not get paid money. And that's usually in prison. And in prison, it's not even a lot. I promise you, inmates would work their butts off to make money to pay for their necessities if that was an option. I promise you they would. And people always say, well, taxpayer dollars, this and that. But inmates also pay taxes. We all pay taxes. We have to pay taxes, and we don't get to choose where it goes. So we're all in this together. We're all on the same side. Someone asked about voting. Can you vote in elections when you're in jail? They never asked us to vote while we were in jail. I don't know how that works exactly. I know once you get out of jail, you can vote, and there are a lot of states that allow felons to vote. I don't know the exact answer to that. I just know when I was there, they never asked us to vote. Someone asked me, what's the first enjoyable activity you did upon release? I've been to jail multiple times, but I will say, for me, the last time was the most important time because that's when I changed everything. What I ended up doing, I have a video on my page about a girl named Faith that I met while I was in jail. She helped me out when I got out of jail. The day that I got out of jail, I went to her house took a shower. I got on her Wi-Fi on my broken phone and was just looking at, online, looking on social media. I think it was Facebook back then. She cooked at her house. She went all out. She really helped me out. She gave me clothes to wear, everything. Awesome, awesome. One of the best people that I've ever met, and I met her in jail. Not everybody that goes to jail is bad. Having someone show me that kind of compassion when I got out meant a lot to me because it was something I wasn't used to. And it was almost like it helped me stay on the right path. I'm doing the right thing. The right people are being put into my life. I got to eat a good meal. I got to relax, no stress. It was like my first night. I didn't have to stress about a roof over my head, what I was going to eat, being sick or anything. I just got to sit on the couch, scroll social media. I knew that for that night, I was okay. And for me, that was enough. I was grateful to be out and to breathe some fresh air. So I don't know about like fun. I mean, we had fun. We had our girl talk and everything. I thought that was really cool. As far as like fun, like go out and do something, it took a long time for me to get out after I got my stuff together. I had to get into sober living. I had to get a job. I had a lot to do. So I didn't really like go do fun things yet. I remember the first time I went to see my family during Thanksgiving when I was in sober living. That was my fun for me. I got to travel back home. I got to see my family. We got to go out to eat. We had our own family fun. Besides my first night hanging out at Faith's house, seeing my family. I went on vacation like 3 years into recovery. I went to the beach for the first time. I think it was 3 years after I got out, maybe 2 years. I went to the beach for the first time and I hadn't been since high school. And then, me and my family went a couple months ago. So for me, like this year, we've had a lot of fun. Me and my family taking our trips. But I just feel like don't pressure yourself to try to have fun. Don't feel like you're not living life right because you're not out there having fun like everybody else. When the time comes, you'll be able to do those things. So don't rush yourself. Don't pressure yourself. Someone said, what is up with the cake? We would get 2 cakes on a tray most days. I have no idea, but we got cake with every meal. And sometimes we get cake and like a piece of bread, like white bread, or like cake and a roll, or like some days if we didn't get cake, we got cornbread, and some days we'd get both. It was a lot of bread. The cake, no frosting. And then some jails give you pudding. They would give you like chocolate or vanilla pudding, but everybody would try to fight over the chocolate. But they would do vanilla if they ran out of chocolate. If you don't get commissary, you don't get sweets in there. So you're trying to get the cake and pudding and whatever the sweet thing is if they give it to you on the tray. Some jails don't give you any of that. They give you like the fruit cocktail stuff, which even that, when you haven't had anything sweet, having that, people would trade like crazy for that. Someone said, would you take the plea or go to trial? Every time I've been to court, I took the plea. I didn't have proper representation. I had a public defender each time, and none of them did anything to help me. None of them even opened my paperwork to look at my case. They literally brought me into court. This is what they said. If you plead guilty, you'll be on probation. Then you're about to get out of jail because you're going to be out on probation. If you don't and you take this to trial, you risk going to prison for this many years. And most people don't win the case when they take it to trial. So that's how they get you to plead guilty. And when you can't afford to do anything else, you end up just taking it. They expect you to afford probation and court costs and everything else. It's all money. But for me, I didn't go to trial with it because I didn't have anybody to represent me properly. And I was not about to go to trial with these public defenders. I know people say some are good, but I've never had a good experience with any of them. I've sat in jail with no time served on anything, not even my driving offenses, nothing. I've never gotten time served on anything and then charged me all this money. So yes, having proper representation makes a huge difference. If you don't have that and you take it to trial and you lose, you could go to prison or do jail time, and nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to be in there longer than they already are. I had a lot of people asking about more food allergies and stuff like that, which I kind of touched base on that in the part 1. It just depends. You let the jail know and hopefully they listen to you. If you know it's something you can't have, you can keep telling them and hopefully eventually they'll fix it. It just depends on the jail, honestly. Sometimes you're stuck trying to trade what you have to be able to get something that you can eat. Someone asked me, what if you need surgery? If you need surgery, you're going to go out of the jail to get that done. They have their own network of doctors and hospitals and all that stuff. You don't get to choose that. Someone asked if I've been interviewed on a podcast. I have not been on anyone's podcast, and I haven't interviewed anybody on here yet. I just don't know people's intentions. That's why I just kind of been staying in my own lane, and I don't know what the future holds, but for now, this is what I've been doing. Once I know for sure who I'll collab with and what I'll do, then I'll go from there. But for now, this is just how I'm handling it. I see a lot of comments where people say, oh, that's illegal, you should sue. How are they getting away with this? You have rights. I absolutely agree with all of that, but a lot of jails have lawsuits against them, whether they're open cases still or someone tried to sue them and they lost, because the jails win a lot. I don't know how they get away with it. If you can't find a free attorney, who can pay for that? Jails and prisons get away with a lot of stuff. It's almost like if it's not on camera, how can you prove it kind of thing? How can you prove it was that person? Someone asked about toilet paper. We got 1 roll of toilet paper a week. You had to use it sparingly, whether you were on your cycle, whether you were coming off of something and had diarrhea or anything, you only got 1 roll of toilet paper. If you had bladder problems, it doesn't matter. You got 1 roll of toilet paper. They didn't give special treatment for that. Everybody was treated the same. Some jails will give you toilet paper more than once a week, but a lot of jails that I've seen, it's once a week. There's one jail that I've been to that's the bougie jail is what I call it, because they did more at that jail than other jails that I've been to. Like one jail I was at, they didn't have a TV, they didn't give you underwear, they didn't give you nothing, no bra, nothing. Like you got nothing in that jail. It was horrible. The water was nasty. Everything was disgusting in that jail. Then I went to another jail and they had like newer showers, so the showers weren't like molded. Some jails will give you more clothing, more toilet paper, more pads, but a lot of jails, it's less than the bare minimum. Someone asked, how do you cut your nails in jail? Nail clippers, they usually have like the big toenail clippers, and from what I've seen, they have, it's a cup with some kind of solution in it, and they drop them in that cup. It's one pair that the whole pod shares. You have to sign them in and sign them out to use them, and then they drop them back in this solution. Now, I don't know what the solution is. I don't know how often they change it. I don't know any of that. So what a lot of us would do, we would get nail filers from Commissary. Some jails sell those on Commissary, and we would just file our nails down. Or if you could, take some soap and wash the nail clippers yourself, because it's kind of gross no matter how you think about it. Just know, you guys, jail does the bare minimum. I'm not blaming a CO in particular. There's a few decent ones, but the jail, how it's set up as a whole, they treat everyone the same no matter what your charge is, how long you're going to be there. Let's say you're on multiple medications or on a machine, they're going to send you to medical. You will stay in medical the whole time you're there. Depending on what your diagnosis is, what they think it is how you'll be treated. It's when they evaluate you when you get to jail, that's what they go by. Same with mental health, same with anything that's going on. Addiction, which I've heard jails are starting to come around with that. I hope so. I really hope so. I wish there were more programs for when people get out of jail, because that's when it really, really matters. I also wanted to add in about the time my property was lost. I've had a lot of people leaving different comments about that under the video. Now, the medication that I took in with me, they would not allow me to take in jail. So they left it with my property, but when I got out, it wasn't there. They're not in a hurry to find you your things. I get it. There's hundreds of people that are in and out of the system. It's hard to find things. I don't know exactly how property works, but I know when we get our belongings, they're in a sealed bag. Everything is listed on a piece of paper. I know all jails are different, and you know, maybe some are just a little more careful, some are more secure. You guys let me know if you have any more questions, or I could do a part 3 on this. Just whatever you guys want to know. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to help. But I hope this answered your guys' questions. Thanks for hanging out with me. See you guys.